Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Nathan Hawken here. So I just wanted to jump on the beginning of this video because recently I went for a wild camp, which is what this video is about, and I went through the footage after I got home and realized that everything that I recorded on the lapel mic when it was plugged into the camera didn't work. I didn't actually put the battery in. So yeah, that was great. That was good to find out. So what I've done in the past is when I've used the lapel mic, I've plugged it into my phone and the phone charges the mic that way so I can operate it without a battery. This is the first time I'd actually used that same lapel mic with my camera here and I totally forgot about the battery. So when I checked the footage, there's a lot of me like speaking to the camera, saying some interesting things or what I thought was interesting or explaining what I was doing, and there was no audio. So I was a mute. So that was great. So what I've done is, while editing the video, I've just done a voiceover for some of the shots to explain the things which I was trying to explain when I was recording without any audio. So yeah, it was a fun experience. Talk about being a newbie with all this type of stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoy the video. Yeah, and on the next one, I'll be taking batteries with me. Cheers. Hey, how's it going? It's Nathan here, and welcome to the video. We're here for another episode of Camping Countryside and Coaching. In the coaching side of things, I'm going to be talking about how to raise your self-awareness, which is something that I've had a lot of people ask about and inquire about. It's something I help all of my coaching clients with, because a lot of the growth work that we do is about how to raise your awareness, how to understand more about yourself. But for now, look, I've just arrived at the woods. It's a beautiful spot. I'm just looking around to find a place where I can set up my tent and camp for the night. There's a lot of flat ground around here, so it should be quite easy. And I'll come back to you in a little bit. Enjoy. So I think I found a cool little spot. Have a look at this here. So it looks pretty flat just there. Might have to move some of the pine cones. A few trees around where I can tie my tarp to. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna have a little wander around and see if there's anything else, but this could be a nice little spot. Yeah, it's nicely tucked away as well. So I'm really grateful to be in these woods because these are owned by a friend of mine, and it's a great spot. There's about 4 square or rectangular patches of woods that all meet with a cross section in the middle. And there's plenty of places to camp. There's a lot of flat ground, as you can see. Really good places to set up a tarp and camp for the night. One of the cool things about what I'm doing today is I bought myself a firebox recently, so I'm going to have a nice little open fire, which I'm going to cook my dinner on tonight. I'm going to make my coffee over it once I finish up setting up the camp here, and in the morning as well. I've brought my water, got everything I need. I'm getting all set up. And I'm really looking forward to camping in the woods tonight. One of the things I'm looking to do is actually go out in the dark and go for a bit of a wander, conquer a little bit of a fear of mine, because that kind of paralyzed me last time. I didn't really want to venture outside at night. So I'm going to do that a little bit later on. Something I need to do here is start getting some firewood for the firebox. Now the firebox is quite small, so it only takes small kind of sticks, kind of kindling. And so what I'm doing is, I saw recently on a video that some of the best kindling you can get is actually when still attached to the tree, because if you find it on the forest floor, it absorbs a lot of the moisture and the wetness there. So I've been walking around just looking at a lot of the trees, and you can see there's plenty of stuff to grab there. The kind of dryish, dead branches just hanging off. So I'm snapping off some of those. I'm going to get a fire going, have a nice coffee, and just kick back for a while. This here is a cool little kit. See that? Electric lighter. I was actually given that electric lighter for a Christmas present. It's really cool. got a nice bunch of sticks there just to kind of keep me going for a while. I had to go out later on to pick up some more because the firebox is small and burns through them pretty quick. It's not very thick logs. But it's really cool. I was very impressed with it. It's a nice bit of kit. It was nice to have an open fire again instead of relying on the stove. One of the things I'm looking to do more often is just do a little bit more bushcraft, learn actually how to make a proper fire, learn how to work with wood, stop relying on the gas stoves and things like that. But for now, it's really cool. I'm just getting my coffee on. I'm going to kick back and chill out. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. It's starting to cool down a bit now as well. I think I did the right thing by wearing the jacket. I think it's going to come very handy tonight. Alright, so I've just had my coffee and just thought I'd go for a little bit of a wander. It's starting to get towards 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening. So I was just wandering through the woods and yeah, check this out. What a view, huh? So that's Dublin City down there. What a great spot. So yeah, cool, huh? So I'm just gonna go through the woods a little bit more, go for a little bit of a wander, and then just chill out for a while, and then yeah, I'll cook up some dinner. Then when the sun's down, I'm going to go for a little bit of a wander through the woods at night. Just have a look. One of the things I noticed last time I was here is that I actually let fear get the best of me, and I didn't want to venture outside of my tent in the evening, at night time. So I did that. I didn't go too far from a tent this time because it's so creepy just walking around a black forest at night. I probably watched too many of the YouTube videos where there's narrations of those Reddit stories, of personal horror stories of campings and things like that. Not really a smart thing to do when you're going out camping by yourself. But yeah, so I got out, had a little bit of a wander around. It was really cool. Still quite scary, but I'm glad I did it. I had a bunch of stuff I recorded when I was inside the tent, but as I said at the beginning of the video, my mic wasn't working, so none of it can be used. Yeah, hopefully I don't do that again. Anyway, after this, I'm going to go into the tent, get some sleep, and I'll catch you in the morning. Hey, how's it going? And good morning. So I survived the night, had a really good night in the tent last night. It was very windy, so it was really loud. But it was good. I got some sleep. I wouldn't say I got heaps of sleep. Probably a chunk of about 3 or 4 hours in the middle, and then there's a little bit of tossing and turning and waking up. But all in all, it was a really good night. It's been a beautiful start to the morning. I mean, the sun is shining. You can't really see it come through the trees at the moment, but it is nice and bright. And what a great way to start the morning is I just sat on the side of my tent. I had the firebox going, so a nice little fire, made a coffee, kind of saw I didn't see the sun rise, but I saw the sky start to get brighter and brighter as it came through the trees to the point where eventually I can see everything again. And it was fantastic. So I got up and took a nice walk through the woods, checked out the countryside again, came back. As you can see, I packed up everything. So I'm ready to go. I've got about an hour and a half before I need to get picked up, which is perfect because that can lead us into this part of the video, which is the coaching side of things. And on today's video, what I wanted to talk about was raising your self-awareness, becoming more aware as a human being. Now, this is an area that I work on with my coaching clients all the time. A lot of the work we do is about raising your awareness, raising your self-awareness, understanding more about yourself so you can make better and more informed decisions in your life, especially when you're trying to achieve something or do something which is outside of your realm of comfort. And so that's what self-awareness really is. It's about being more consciously aware of you and what goes on inside of you and what produces the external results and behaviors in you, instead of consistently operating off your default programming. It's about really understanding what goes on up in here on a deeper level. Like, where do your thoughts come from? Where do your reactions come from? Why do you feel certain ways? So the more you can become self-aware, the easier your life can become, and the more at peace you can become inside of yourself, because you know that if this happens and you typically respond with this behavior, then when this happens in the future, you can make more conscious decisions about how you're going to respond to it. Becoming more self-aware and understanding more about yourself so you can raise your awareness, it really is one of the foundations of personal growth and development. It's about becoming aware of your beliefs, your values, your strengths, your weaknesses. When you understand these things about yourself, you can make better and more informed decisions about the things that you want to achieve or that align with the goals that you have set out to achieve. Or it can even just help you get started, even if you don't know what it is that you want to achieve just yet, or maybe you struggle to set goals. It can help you understand more about yourself and then realize what is going to be in alignment for you to feel more fulfilled in your life in general. It's also about your emotional intelligence. I mean, we hear a lot about emotional intelligence. Many people out there talk about it, but emotional intelligence is about the intelligence you have inside yourself about your emotions when they come through, your fears, your angers, anytime you're sad, you're happy, all these type of emotions. When you understand more about your emotions and where they come from, you're able to recognize and manage them so you can build upon and grow stronger relationships, both with other people and yourself, becoming more healthy, becoming more active, becoming more professional if you're in a professional type of setting. The more you can understand your emotions, the better informed the decisions that you can make. When you're more aware and self-aware, you can become more adaptable to situations as well. One of the things I learned in my NLP training was that the person with the most flexibility can ultimately control the situation. And so when you're adaptable, when you can have more flexibility in some of the things that you can do, you can have more control over the outcome and more control over yourself. And this comes through raising your awareness. This comes through deep introspective work to understand where your emotions are coming from, where your behaviors are coming from, where your habits are coming from, what beliefs you have, which ones serve you, which ones don't. When you understand these things, you have more freedom and flexibility to be on the path that you want to be on. And if anything comes into that path that is going to take you off it, then you can be a stronger decision maker and say no to more things. No to things which are going to take you off it. Yes to things which are going to assist you and align with what you're trying to achieve and help you on that path. So when you raise your awareness, you're understanding more and more at a deeper level about you, who you are, and what you do. Even in a leadership setting, becoming more aware means that not only are you more aware of yourself, but you can become more aware of where other people are in their own life, in their own journey. Man, my fingers are starting to get cold. When you raise your own awareness, naturally, you start to see things in a different way, so you can start to see where people need to raise their awareness if you're leading them, which means that as a leader, you can help them focus on their strengths, help them on their weaknesses and move beyond them. You can help them become better decision makers themselves, which are ultimately going to impact what they do, which will help you and your team achieve what they're trying to achieve, and you become a better leader. It's also really good with stress management. When you're more aware, when you're more self-aware, you can understand the triggers and the things which are going to stress you out, which are going to frustrate you. So you can start to make better decisions about what you're going to do to avoid that, or even when those situations happen, make it have less of an impact on yourself. I understand that only too well. Like, I can get frustrated and stressed sometimes, typically around the kids, because a lot of the time they don't listen and it's quite difficult. So one of the things with my journey of self-awareness has been to get myself to a point where I can see what's going on, I can choose not to get frustrated by it, and I can try and think logically about what I can do in the moment so I don't get stressed out, it doesn't amplify the situation, but I'm still able to control it in a certain way so that we can get a better result from it. One of the really powerful parts of becoming more self-aware is becoming more authentic with yourself and having more of an authenticity about yourself. When you're more self-aware, when you consistently work on your awareness to become more self-aware, you become more of who you are. at the core, deep down inside. You become more authentic. You can actually start removing some barriers, removing some blockages, so you're more comfortable with just saying what you want to say, doing what you want to do, being who you want to be. You get less worried about the judgment and fear from coming from other people. You stop other people's negative energy getting to you. You can choose which opinions to listen to rather than just kind of take them all on, especially if they have a detrimental effect on you. So the more you can raise your self-awareness, the more authentic you can become and the more at peace you can become with inside yourself. One of the biggest challenges that people face is that they struggle with just being themselves. Feeling like they've always got to put up a front or a show for people, always worried about what other people think or what they say about them, whether they're going to judge them. When you're authentic, none of that matters. You're at peace with who you are and you can stand up powerfully and say, I am me. Take it or leave it. I can be flexible, I can grow, I can work with you to come to a better result. But if I'm going to be judged, if you're going to judge me, then it doesn't matter, because you understand only too well who you are. And so the more you raise your awareness, the more authentic you can become. And I touched on it before as well, but when you have goals, when you have desired outcomes that you want to work towards, the more self-aware you can become, the more you can raise your awareness, the more aligned you get with those goals. The more you understand that what you've set out to achieve aligns with who you are, mind, body, and soul, deep down inside. So that helps you stay on track and it helps you stay on path towards it. This really gives you a strong sense of purpose and a direction to move forward into. So everything we do, no matter what happens, it's always about raising your awareness. It's always about what can I learn about myself that's going to assist me take the next step towards my goals. So it's all well and good to talk about raising your self-awareness, becoming more self-aware. But how do you do it? One of the biggest questions I get asked is, how do you raise your self-awareness? What specifically do you have to do? Well, there's no clear-cut answer to that. There's so many different things you can do and they all revolve around growth. But the first thing I would recommend and say is that don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up about your current programming and how you're currently operating. A lot of the stuff that you do now, a lot of the behaviors that you have, a lot of the thinking that you have, that's taken years upon years to cultivate and condition into you. You can't just change it straight away. There's certain things you can do which can release negative emotions and limiting beliefs which will help you with your thinking. You've got to give yourself a break to begin with. Don't beat yourself up about where you're currently at, because the cool thing is where you're currently at means you've got a lot of wiggle room and growth to go through. So it all means that you just start taking single, one at a time steps to start moving towards raising your awareness. And just remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You're exactly perfect who you are and where you are right now. But if you're watching this video and you're interested in raising your self-awareness, then you've already done the right thing by taking some action to start listening to something, learning about yourself, learning about how you can actually change yourself, which is the first starting point. Now, if you're coming from a place where you want to raise your self-awareness, you realize there's certain thought patterns, there's certain behaviors that you're doing, there's certain emotions which are coming out which you don't like, or they start to dominate certain situations in your life, then the first thing you need to do after not beating yourself up is to find the purpose or the reason behind your current thinking and current behavior. Because we need to understand where that's coming from, what purpose it's fulfilling, so we can figure out how the purpose fulfilled in a more positive way rather than in a negative way. So ask yourself this question: when I feel like this, or when I behave like this, or when this thought comes to my head, what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of this right now? The answer will come to you, but we have to understand what's the driving force behind your current thinking and your current behavior. Sometimes the answer to that question comes back as, I don't know, or it's difficult to come up with something. That's because there's a blockage there. Anytime a coaching client says to me, I don't know, once I've asked them a deep answer, that's because their conscious mind, or they're trying to protect themselves from something. And it's untrue that you don't know, because you do. You have all the answers. What we need to do is try and bypass that and get around it, because that's just a cop-out. I don't know, so let's move on to the next question. No, let's stay on that question and dig a little bit deeper. So what is the purpose of this thinking or behavior? What purpose does this serve? If you come up with an answer where it's I don't know or I'm unsure, then you ask yourself this question: what am I not admitting to myself right now? Or what am I too afraid to admit to myself right now? This is a deep, powerful question, and if you give yourself the time and space to answer it, you will get the answer you need. It may not be the one you want, but it's the answer that you need. Once you've asked those questions, you've got a better understanding about who you are and the purpose behind certain thinking behavior. Well done, you've just raised your awareness. You've raised it to a point where you've got an answer. Once you've got an answer, that means you can start doing something about it. And this is the whole point. It's not necessarily about the next steps you're going to take, because that's just the action on the answer. What we're doing here to really raise your self-awareness is to open up a communication and dialogue with yourself, with your inner self, with your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind has all the answers, and it will give you all the answers. If you really want to raise your awareness, you have to open up dialogue with yourself. I know it sounds strange, but talking to yourself is a great way to do it. You don't have to do it in crowded people when people might look at you. Hey, if you got no fear of being judged, then go right ahead. But really, it's that introspective, asking question, meditating, getting the answers you need. This communication with your unconscious mind will help you raise your awareness faster and more effectively the more you practice this. This is how I get a lot of my answers. This is what I encourage my coaching clients to do, is that introspective work, to ask themselves the question and get the answer. This is how you truly raise your self-awareness. This is how you raise your awareness to a point to get into alignment with what you want to achieve. So if you do those simple things, ask those powerful questions, open up a dialogue with yourself and do it consistently, your awareness will go from here to here, and you will recognize that. You will recognize how more at ease you feel with certain things. You recognize with how more comfortable you become with yourself. And so with that, I'm going to leave the video here. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions for me, you can reach out any stage. My email address is in the description. I'll ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. If you like my work, you want to support my work, I do have a Patreon. The link is in the description below as well. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go for a bit of a wander, get down to the road soon, because I'm going to get picked up. And yeah, I'll catch you for the next time.